For some of us, the word Bunnyman may sound like a cute and cuddly character from a book. But for some people from Northern Virginia, it's the source of a terrifying urban legend. The story goes that if you go near a certain bridge in Clifton on a certain night of the year, you could meet your doom at the hands of the Bunnyman. Unless you whack him upside the head with a big carrot, maybe. Anyway, one story behind this urban piece of folklore starts with a man named Douglas Griffin. It's said that he had been admitted to an asylum, but managed to escape back in 1904. The bus that was transporting him and some of his fellow patients had an accident. Most of the patients were found after the crash, apart from him. It was as if he'd vanished into thin air. Weeks later, strange clues started appearing in the woods. Now, if you're traveling through Italy, Spain, or even parts of Asia, seeing a rabbit dish on the menu isn't something unheard of. But if you see clues that a man is munching on bunnies on a field in Northern Virginia, now that's a bit creepy. Obviously, rumors started to spread that Douglas had this unusual diet because he needed to survive alone in the wild. Then the story got even more terrifying, as it went on to say that on the night of October 31st, of course, Douglas also began hurting people. Now don't get too freaked out just yet. The truth is, there was never actually an asylum in Clifton, and the story about Douglas Griffin may just be made up by locals. But that doesn't stop people from believing in the Bunnyman, and it's become a popular tale that's even inspired its own movie franchise. One guy who tried to get to the bottom of the Bunnyman legend is an archivist for Fairfax County. He discovered that at the root of this legend was actually a couple who had a terrifying encounter with a man who threw something at their car. Not very interesting so far, sure, but he was supposedly dressed in white or light-colored clothing. He may also or may not have some sort of object on his head, too. Did it look like bunny ears? We'll never know, but from there on, the story took on a life of its own, with people swapping stories about a man in a bunny suit chasing them through the woods. To this day, some refuse to believe that the Bunnyman legend isn't true and think that local authorities are trying to cover something up. Obviously, there's no real evidence to support their claim. Regardless of whether or not the Bunnyman was real, don't you just love a good urban legend? Especially the ones that truly make you wonder if they could actually be true. Luckily for us, we live in the age of unlimited information and have access to some great resources. It gives us the opportunity to finally put some of these legends to the test. First up, the question on everyone's mind: can a rat really crawl up a toilet? Drumroll, please. And the answer is yes. I mean, sure, rats can make cute and cuddly pets, but the idea of them using your toilet as their personal swimming pool is not so adorable. One video posted online explains the whole process in a creepy yet fascinating way. These sneaky little rodents can climb up pipes and squeeze through the twists and turns of your toilet like a contortionist in a circus. And believe it or not, they're actually good swimmers. And apparently, they hold their breath really well and don't mind too much what exactly they are swimming in. Some other urban legends are a bit more virtual. Picture this: it's 1981, and you're hanging out at your favorite suburban arcade. You've been playing for hours, but there's one game that's got you hooked: Polybius. It's got a surreal digital glow that bounces off the faces of all who are playing it. You can't stop playing, and neither can anyone else. Soon enough, things start to get weird. Players start feeling nauseous, stressed, and having horrific nightmares. The game is serviced more often than other games, with men in black suits opening the machine every week to record its data. But they don't seem interested in its coins. Soon after Polybius appears, the mystery arcade game vanishes without warning, taken by the same men in black suits, leaving no record of its existence. Well, that's the main story at least, and it's one of the biggest unsolved mysteries in the gaming world. Like all good stories, it's kept alive by its fans. But here's the thing: most people don't think the game ever existed. The legend of Polybius is full of conflicting details. No one even has a copy of the original game file, so no one can agree on what the game was actually like. Was it a puzzle game? What kind of graphics did it use? But there's one thing everyone seems to agree upon: it was disorienting and confusing. In it, colorful geometric shapes bend and fold from a central portal like some sort of digital hypnosis. According to legend, the intense combination of vector and raster graphics in Polybius made the mind susceptible to concealed messages from authorities. While the details of the game are ambiguous, its story does have some roots in real events. Back in the 80s, some say there was a game called Tempest that made some players feel a little queasy. Okay, maybe queasy is an understatement. Apparently, it caused uncontrollable movements and motion sickness in players. Talk about a wild ride. Even the subliminal video game connection is real. Some official agencies do use video games to train their personnel. Combine all of that with the short-lived 1985 game Polyplay, an 8-game arcade cabinet that was recalled, possibly for copyright reasons, and you have a pretty solid foundation for a massive fraud. Oops, urban legend. If you think about it, even the name Polybius itself could have been a misunderstood version of Polyplay. I think I would file this under horsepucky. Now let's travel to Europe for a bit of this next might be a real urban legend. The mystery figure that roamed a local forest in Switzerland was the source of a really intriguing story. For a whole decade, people were talking about this person who wore a gas mask and camouflage attire while walking around. Despite numerous eyewitness accounts, no one could confirm the existence of this creepy character, making him a legend in the eyes of many. They even gave him a cool name, Le Lion. The plot thickens though. In 2013, someone finally captured a photo of Le Lion, proving that he was indeed real. Later, his gas mask and coat were found in the woods, along with a note that suggested he was harmless and just couldn't take being seen as a monster anymore. Did he disappear? Did he move on to another forest? Did he go undercover as a friendly clown? We may never know, but one thing's for sure. Le Lion will always be remembered as the spirit who roamed the Swiss forest for a decade, and we can't help but wonder what his story truly is. Now, you've seen the movies, read the books, or at least heard about the name Tarzan. Well, it turns out he might not actually be just a figment of someone's imagination. A possible real-life Tarzan might have indeed existed at one point. And get this, it could be the 14th Earl of Streatham, William Charles Milden. This man's survival tale sounds way too familiar to Tarzan's. Both came from English noble families and were shipwrecked in Africa. Milden's ship was destroyed during a 3-day storm, and he claimed he survived by clinging to a piece of wreckage. He washed ashore and started to pal around with a group of apes. He remembered saying of that time in his life, "For some strange reason, I was not afraid of these strange creatures. They were hideous to look upon, but seemed gentle and harmless." He became so close with the apes that they provided him with food, and he even built himself a tree house. He was really strong and flexible for his age, but unlike his cartoon counterpart, never became the leader of the animals. Unlike Tarzan, he didn't speak to the apes, but did figure out some form of communication. That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.